All right, guys, we're going to start this one off. This is going to be a quick video. So let me just make sure that we're good to go here. Yep. All right. We might have Seth join us at some point too here. But I wanted to make it just a quick video, quick short, about dealing with conflict and creating a I don't want to say creating a narrative, but controlling a narrative. The basic premise of what we're going to go through is how do you um how do you take a bad situation and make it decent, make it good? How do you take something that's extremely difficult and make it good? So that's what we're going to go through today. Now, I'm going to use an example of this. Okay, so let's say, for example, you have a team of people. Let's say that it's a sports team, right? And the sports team, let's say football team, and the football team has a lot of great players on it. They have a great quarterback, but they're over the salary cap, right? And you need to get rid of a player, and you have to choose between a veteran, um, and so you end up letting a player go that's pretty foundational to the team. All these players that you have choices on are foundational to the team. So you let that player go, and there's a right way to do it and wrong way to do it, right? So you let him go and you let him know kind of why you're doing it. The best thing to do is in a situation like that is to give them the best that you can on their way out, right? So let's say, for example, in a situation like this, you have like the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, right? So let's say that I'm the Green Bay Packers, and I'm going to make sure that I do everything that I can to make it a smooth and clean transition for Aaron Rodgers because hey, he's staying out of our division. He's getting traded to a team that he wants to get traded to. It's not going to impact us. And how do we make this as positive as humanly possible, right? The internal narrative could be for a team like that, we're in a reset. We're not going to be able to do anything this year. We're not going to accomplish anything. There's going to be no winning, right? That could be the internal mindset. For the backup quarterback that's going in for him, that's now a starting quarterback, it could be fear. It could be a lack of respect from other players. That's how that person could feel. And so your job and how you handle this is extremely important. Now, let's just take, for example, that scenario. Let's say that you blow it up. Let's say that you go to the media in that scenario as the Green Bay Packers and you say some dumb stuff. You say, hey, this is the reason why we're doing X, Y, and Z, whatever. You say some stupid stuff. You go to Aaron Rodgers and you say, you fight with him about where he wants to go. Well, I know you want to go to the Jets. We don't want to send you to the Jets. We want 3 first-round picks. We want X, Y, and Z. And, becoming unreasonable, right? So now you have Aaron Rodgers who's upset. He's talking to all the players that he's friends with, and he's letting them know the situation and problems. And most likely they're agreeing with him. Most likely they're on the team together. There's some sort of turmoil that they are that they're having. It's not going to be a good situation. There's nothing beneficial to it, right? So you get through that. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Now the new quarterback steps in, and people start to blame that new quarterback, right? He feels like people are blaming him. He feels like he's not supported. He feels like he doesn't have the team behind him. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But there's a despair there. It's going to make some people perform less good. Failing those motives, right? In addition, you have whatever players you're bringing in, whatever free agents are going to look at your organization as this is messy. This does not look good. This is not something I want to go to, right? This is why the Patriots did well for so long because any internal narratives, just think about that for a second. Any internal narratives, even with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers situation, they didn't blow it up. They didn't make it Tom Brady's a bad guy thing. I went to one of the first games. Yes, sorry, I'm in the middle of training. It's okay. It's okay. I'm in the middle of training. It's okay. All right, sorry about that. Hold on 1 second. Pause. All right, sorry about that. So the Green Bay Packers, let's say they didn't deal with the situation the right way. They're causing all sorts of issues and things like that, or whatever. It's not going to be appreciated. The organization's not going to moving forward is not going to have as easy of a time, right? So that's the way that it's going to work, in a situation like that. Now, that being said, let's say things are handled the right way. Okay. Let's say things are handled the right way. Let's say, for example, that the Green Bay Packers put out talk to Aaron Rodgers, say, look, this is how we want to handle the situation. They put out a nice press release saying, look, we really appreciate this guy's time. This guy's, meant the world to us. Our organization would never be the same without him, whatever, all this stuff, right? Okay. That's going to mean a lot to both Aaron Rodgers and the organization. But the narrative is what is best controlled in that situation. The narrative is what is. Look, it's a narrative that should exist. It's what people want to hear. Right? People want to hear, hey, I got this great success story, this legend, and he's not splitting up my organization under bad pretenses. He's, everything is good, right? Okay, that's what people want to hear. Okay, so then let's say, for example, you have Aaron Rodgers, like I said, his narrative with the players changes. Look, it's a new career path for me. You guys are going to do great here without me. Everything is going to be just fine. The organization. I just want to remind you guys, this is how Aaron Rodgers is going to start, right? The organization is reminding the players, reminding the other people on the team that there's value in the organization, and they're doing that through appreciation of Aaron Rodgers in that situation, right? So now the quarterback is going to feel a lot better about it going into it, as are the players. It becomes a more desirable destination for players, and they're able to take care of all their problems, their internal problems separately. And this is why it's worked so well for the Patriots up until they start to have issues with it. Even when they had issues with it after Tom Brady left, like slightly, think about the amount of issues that other teams would have had in that same situation. Look at the Deshaun Watson scenario. Look at the Deshaun Watson scenario. The dude, there's all these different issues, but internally there's all these problems as well. There's problems with the narrative, so on and so forth. Just all these different issues, That's something that's completely preventable and controllable if the organization just does the right thing. Okay. All right. So getting past that, let's get into some real, work scenarios here. All right. So you have an employee, been there for a long time, does not get the growth that he wants, decides that he's going to leave the organization. Okay. There's a couple things that you can do. Okay. Let's say that he leaves abruptly. Okay. There's a couple things that you can do. You can, I've seen companies do this before. It's not what you should do, but you can trash the employee. Oh yeah, he wasn't committed. He didn't care about our company. He didn't care about a team or organization. That's not the way to do things, but that's what you can do, because that person's going to have friends there. I've seen this happen numerous times. Not to say it's never happened to me before too. Where you just, it didn't end off well with somebody, and you vent that frustration or whatever to the team. It never ends off well, because that person's going to have friends there. Even though they ultimately might choose you, that conversation is going to get started. What's wrong with this guy? This guy has a problem there. This guy's not right. So that's what's going to happen in a situation like that. So moving past that, let's just say that this is handled the right way. Okay. Then the way that it probably happens is, you probably explain to that employee very well, look, this is why that path for growth is not there for you. Have a good reason. Okay. Explain it to them. If they decide to leave the organization, then, get feedback from them. Okay, well, look, I apologize. If I would love to work with you in the future, this and that, like open up a door for that person, assume that they leave the right way and everything like that. And then that way they know they have opportunity there. They value that relationship. The internal narrative, should be, look, at this person's moving on to do different things. Okay. And it opens up opportunities for other people. This person's a great guy, great for the job. It wasn't for him at the time. Okay. All these different things, guys, they can be controlled. And one of the biggest mistakes that managers make and leaders make is they don't control that narrative. They don't control the narrative. Okay. So, now you break this down to your scripting, break this down to your pitching customers. Okay. The way that you interact with customers, guys, is, you have so much control over that scenario, and the way that you act, the way that you work with the customer is going to make a huge difference in what you do. So let's just say, for example, you're at a customer's house and that customer says to you, my windows are fine, I don't need anything. Okay. If your response is to say, you're lying to me, okay, that's not going to bode very well for you. If your response is to say, no, you're having that problem, that's not going to bode very well. Okay. control the conversation. I'm glad you have not noticed that before, Mr. Jones. I'm glad you've not noticed that before, Mr. Jones. That's good. That means that it's not impacting you as much as it's impacting your neighbors. That being said, this is going to be a problem. Or that being said, there's several other issues that I can see here. Okay. So again, it's controlling the conversation, guys. Make these decisions properly. Now, here's the steps to make these decisions. A, assess the situation. What's going on in the situation? B, give time. Okay. And I don't mean a lot of time, but give yourself an hour, a half hour, process the issue. Okay. C, write down what you need to do. Okay. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. The choices that you have. All right. And then finally, when you act, measure every response. Okay. Measure every response. Check every response. Okay. All right. So that's a leadership short for you guys. I will be back to do more today.